We're all lowballers. We've all done it, and if you're saying that you haven't, you're lying. We've all lowballed somebody before, and that's exactly what I did with my 2012 BMW M3. Because let's face it, this thing has seen better days. But after crashing my C6 Corvette out of the track right here last month, I decided it was time to get back on the horse. So I flew out to Washington, bought this car sight unseen, and I'm starting to think I may have bit off a little bit more than I can chew. So today we are out at UMC, back at the same track that I crashed at just a few months ago. And we're here to get a baseline track time to see how fast we can take this BMW around the track versus in a few months when it's completed. And as a bonus side quest, it's actually my brother Sky's birthday, and we're surprising him out here at the track, which is why I was able to get a private track day. So we're headed to the track right now. We're about 5 minutes away. I've been driving, yes, the entire way with absolutely no windows on this hog. It is freezing cold. It's the middle of November in Utah, 53 degrees outside, but it's Sky's birthday, so the track has been rented out for him. He's right behind me in his McLaren 600 LT, and he has absolutely no idea. Just rolled up, and look at that thing, dude. Oh my gosh, and he has absolutely no idea. Okay, go ahead, dude. And if you're new to the channel, Sky is my brother and also happens to be single-handedly responsible for my passion for cars. About a year ago, Sky and I actually went out to Las Vegas together to test drive some supercars he was looking at purchasing. One of them happened to be the 600 LT, which is what he ultimately ended up picking. And Sky's actually no stranger to track days, but it's usually on his Ducati. So I know he was stoked to finally get the McLaren out. But today on track, we're celebrating his birthday. So be sure to leave a happy birthday comment below for Sky.
I believed you completely.
Did you? Perfect. So while Sky got set up, I had to take a minute to get my bearings because this was the first time I had been back out physically on track since I wrecked a few months ago. But after crashing last month, I'm not messing around with safety anymore. I was unfortunately in an in-between stage where I had replaced my steering wheel, removed the airbag. I had a racing steering wheel on there, but a normal seatbelt, no head and neck restraint, a motorcycle helmet from back when I had a bullet bike. I had all the wrong safety gear, which was my absolute deepest regret. And when the homies at Holley found out how poorly equipped I was, they hooked it up with a brand new Stilo helmet. Today, we're breaking out the Stilo ST5 composite helmet. This is gonna provide all the safety that we need today. As you can see right here, we have mounts for a Hans device, which is a head and neck restraint device. We're gonna talk more about this later, but a very special shout out to Holley for making sure that I stay safe. All right, we got the green light. Okay, so this is my first time driving on the track since I hit the freaking wall, which is right over there. We're actually gonna be driving the exact same corner that I crashed on. Oh gosh, the car feels so squishy. All right, we're coming up on Brad here. Trying to take it nice and easy. We're not trying to have any accidents today. Oh, we got the rear end out just a little bit.
It was at this moment he knew. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? I just crashed my first day back.
The brakes feel super weird. Oh my gosh. This is honestly so surreal being on the track again. It's been forever, but this car literally feels like a boat compared to the C6. We literally drove these tires all the way from Seattle, and now they're on the track. I don't know what's going on. More comfortable here, dialing in our braking zones. Woo! Yo! Honestly, like, this is a big moment because it makes me feel like I've finally passed that barrier of like, I had a wreck on track and I'm back. Granted, we have so much work to do on this car, but we're back. We're back.
Round 2, fight.
Oh, we're sliding, boys. Oh! happy than the Corvette was. But I think that's also because the Corvette had 345s in the rear.
Can we just take a second to appreciate the intake sounds, the intake noises? They are so juicy, so tasty. Because remember, this car has a stock exhaust. So what's blessing your ears right now are the juicy sounds of factory ITBs.
Wow. All right, we're gonna take a quick cool down lap. This thing, it was honestly really, really weird to get used to because I was so used to the Corvette and how just absolutely planted that car feels around the track. This car is so much different. It's so much more tail happy. It doesn't have the same kind of rear grip that the Corvette had, but it's fun in its own way. Honestly, I can see this thing with the right suspension, the right brakes, the right tire setup. It's gonna fly, dude. But honestly, this is just so motivating because this is a stock car. And so we're only going up from here, boys. We're gonna do brakes, we're gonna do coilovers, we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff to make this car absolutely dialed. But man, what a starting point. What a starting point, dude.
That was sick, and that was honestly really refreshing to finally get back out on track after the accident. All things considered, you can hear America out there. All things considered, I do miss the Corvette, and that doesn't help. But this is an insane starting point. So we have our official time. We have the car. The car survived the day on old clapped out Bridgestones, on stock brakes, on stock suspension. The car felt like an absolute boat. It was the weirdest thing. So now all that's left to do is just get going on this hog. So first order of business was a little ripperoonie, a little Cinderella, if you will. Then we had to get this hunk of junk washed finally, and I'd be willing to bet this thing hasn't been cleaned since Nam, based on its condition. And add salt to my wound. There was a bunch of sticker adhesive that had been baked on there for who knows how long, and even more stickers that hadn't been removed yet.
And that's doing absolutely nothing. We're gonna need some kind of like Goo Gone or I don't know what to get this off. I don't even really know how to wash this. I'm just washing like broken things. I feel like I'm washing like a minefield because I can spray here, I can't spray here, and I can't spray here. It feels like in every like region there's water that's about to get where it shouldn't be. And honestly, the soap just stresses me out even more. Now, we kind of have three options when it comes to repairing this thing. Option number one, and what a lot of you guys recommended in the comments, was to have this car PDR'd, which if you're not familiar, it stands for paintless dent repair, which is exactly what it sounds like. They're gonna pull this dent out and try it and restore all the body lines as best as they could. Now, unfortunately, every PDR guy and body shop I talked to said that this is not a good candidate for PDR. Now, option number two would be a wide body, which I'm not opposed to. The problem is just that a wide body typically would only cover this section right here on the rear. It's not gonna cover this section. That being said, if you guys know of any wide body kits that would cover all of this and ideally some of that, let me know. But option number three, probably the most likely, is we're just gonna have to cut this entire section out, probably following this body line right here, come down and then replace this entire lower section. But unfortunately, I've just discovered more damage on this car. This is what I was obviously aware of. I didn't realize that the car had been hit right here so hard. Obviously, the door has a lot of damage that came along with it, but again, it looks like it was really localized to right here, which caused all of that. And unfortunately, this really complicates things because I don't know how much more it's gonna add to the repair bill. At this point, I'm questioning all my life choices and whether or not this was worth it because so much of it was still held together with duct tape. But I still had to get the door and side skirt off to better assess the damage and see if anything was frame related. So I did just look it up and it's actually roughly the same price as if we were to replace this versus all of this down here. And that's talking just about OEM parts. You can't get this kind of stuff because it's structural. You can't get it aftermarket. So unfortunately, we're looking at $4,500 just for the part.
So when things get too expensive, what do? One word for you, donor car. That's 2 words. Now the problem is I'm here in Utah, the donor car is in Wisconsin, which is so far away from me. I don't even know if it'll arrive here in decent enough condition for it to line up on this car. So I'm always open to suggestions. I think that's probably the best course of action, but you guys are just as much of a part of this as I am. So if you have any suggestions on the best ways to proceed with this, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below. But as usual, if you guys made it this far in the video, you're a real one. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so stoked on how well this car is coming together. It's actually really refreshing to have the car clean, to have the door off, and be able to properly assess all of this damage here. And if you thought the project was gonna have to pause here while we wait for these parts, you're wrong. You guys should know me better than that because we already have parts on the way. We've got coilovers coming. We've got an exhaust coming. We've got some interior bits and so much more to do on this car. So don't miss it. I'll see you guys in the next video.